people, because that is key. If we can outmobilize the government, we have many people on our side fighting for us. If you have the women, for example, Caswell and Shad was supposed to be there also in the Russia. We sent a team and I pushed for it, for them to go there. And I pushed for a bigger team to go there so that we be seen getting involved in those activities. That's what I call out organizing the state. We go there, we get involved in the plight of the people in Russia. We sympathize with them. They come with us with rungos, but we discuss, we bring them to our side, we tell them this is what the information we have. The people in Russia, some of them didn't have information of how many of the kids. They're not on X. This information is not on mainstream media. So we need to start out organizing the state, outmaneuvering the state, instead of sitting around like lame ducks. For me, I'm doing what I can do. We've been to these areas and we have mobilized People's Assembly where we meet and discuss these issues. We forward them to the office. If somebody is arrested, quickly we get the information. We send our team of lawyers. If, for example, Booker was arrested, send lawyers, but they were going to take him into a boot and take him somewhere. Right now, we'll be talking about free Booker. And because of a quick response that happened, there was a gentleman also who had come up to talk about issues, Collins. When that happened, the response was quick because we on X have become the center, the government of our country. We are the official opposition. But if the opposition cannot organize itself, if the opposition itself is fighting over petty issues, then we cannot achieve what we want. So it is incumbent upon those who are here listening to stop even critiquing, start offering solutions, start doing something. If somebody is doing something, advise them to do something else. The bickering and the constant chatter, it bores me to death, especially when I'm out here and I'm, KOT is out there talking to somebody who's been shot 8 times. KOT was in Githurai. You saw all the posters and you saw the people of Githurai. They will point you to somebody and say that I was playing with this person, a 36-year-old man who was shot in the head. I was playing with this person when I was a kid, and here he's dead. I was playing with this 19-year-old a few weeks ago, and he was killed by the police. And each time, yeah, I think that's it.
Oh, okay, Baraka. I just paused you for a moment. I think people are still digesting on what you're saying, and I would want you to stick still on the speaker panel because of the question, especially on you've emphasized. I don't want us to lose also the plot, guys. We are on Bob Njagi issue. I know there are those who would want to react to this matter. The reason why we gave Wakili this long period to talk to us is how we can navigate this path, remembering there is the law and there's this anger, there's this rage in Kenya. So I would want Wakili to stick around because I know there are people, especially there's this question. There are individuals you have talked about. You saw the infighting. I don't want to mention them by name. You can see the distraction. You can see the big wings now fighting. Do you think it is the right moment? Again, for the Kenyans that are losing now hope, even amongst these people that are supposed to mobilize us, the people that we are looking onto, now there are questions that are coming up. We are seeing also pictures of people posing with some of the individuals in this administration. What do you think? What do you think Kenyans are thinking? Yeah, because to me, it's a form of distraction. So I would want you to stick around because you've been hanging out with Morara. There are those already now even questioning. So I would want you to bring out. I would want you to address that more, especially on bringing back the confidence. We want to be so sure we are banking on individuals who can help us achieve this revolution. Saying that, please, let me take the mic and please, if you have a question, you can pose it to Wakili. Wakili, I think you'll be noting down. I want to give Otero. Otero, I will be calling you twice. If you don't get to respond, then I'll have to drop you. Otero? Otero, are you there? Not yet. MC, you've been here for long. You can hear me? For those guys requesting the mic, kindly, please, if you are requesting the mic, I'll have to. David, are you there?
Hello, can you confirm if you
That is
can
David.
hear me?
That is David.
MC. Yeah.
Ninani? Yeah. Okay, go on. Please, just take 2 minutes. 2 minutes, please. 2 minutes.
Thank
Be
you.
very punctual, please.
Thank you, actually. First point, thanks for hosting the space, actually. Lots are going on. And as you can see, cheki, history and abduction bana. They are taking away people not tunaona. We should be our defenders. No one is caring about us. No one should be abducted in our sight. Msee asichukuliwe tukiwa tunaona. It shouldn't be that way, walai. We should end these things. Alafu, to anyone who feels like he's far from this, and you've ever been part of this movement, I want to trace down mpaka kwa ground, one by one. They'll come to us. They're only dealing with the big fishes as per now, but with time they'll come to us. Hizi vitu za internet ziko recorded, wakiamua kutufuata watatufuata. So ukiingiza uoga ati someone is being taken away, and you see, as for Bob Njagi's case, now he's been away for more than 4 weeks. No one knows his way. And he just went, and I'm sure some people were on site watching or what. We should just try defending at least hata kienda. Aende, but you made effort. Si ile yenye mtu anachukuliwa mbele yenyu na tunaona. That was my big deal. I think, and that is all for me. Manze, mtu asichukuliwe tukiona walai. Kama tunataka kusucceed hii vita, we should be our brothers keepers and sisters keeper. Like, no one should be taken on our side. That's all for me. I think I'm done.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for being so brief. And we have emphasized on that. Na tumekuwa tukisema even before Njagi apotee. The moment your brother is taken up. Sasa unataka kuniambia wale watu walikuwa kwa matatu. Njagi akichukuliwa. Wherever you are, what are you feeling? What are you feeling? And we emphasize what my brother has said. Let us desist. Tuache hii tabia ya kuona tu mtu tao, mtu anakuja anachukuliwa tu, nyinyi mnapiga picha. Please Kenyans. These are the tactics wanatumia. Wamerealize nyinyi mnaangaliaga tu. Please, going forward, if they arrest one, let them arrest all of you mkiwa 10 ama 20. Because the moment mkiwa 20, they cannot take all of you. And that way mtaenda mjue brother yenyu amekuwa booked in. All these abductions zinafanyika. There is no booking. Right now, we don't know where Buka was booked. Hatujui ni police station gani alipelekwa. So when you see your brother hata kama humjui na mtu anaitana for help, stop just staring. Tuache itabia ya Nairobi ati mimi nilikuja shughuli zangu. Kindly please. Now, I'm still waiting for Wanjira to come. I'll give you the mic. I would want to go to Erat, and then Wanjira will come and give help us with the legal expertise on this. Eric, you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Kindly take the mic and kindly react to this issue.
Now, I think what Kenyans need to understand really is that we are in very bad times, and the earlier we notice this, the better. Now, I think, in my very honest opinion, I tend to feel that those guys who were in the vehicle when Bob Njagi was being abducted, I think they have a huge burden on their conscience. They should even have done something better than even making sure that these guys who abducted the guy are known. Even just taking photos and masking them and taking photos of their faces, it will have served as a big deal, man. But what we need to understand, that we are dealing with the former ICC alumni, man. This is somebody who managed to move out of the highest court of criminals, man. And a corrupt politician is like a drug baron, man. The more we rehabilitate the client, the more he fights back. And the only language that this government understands, the only language is the street movements. The hashtags are not going to help so much. Let us move out. Let us mobilize. We should now be looking at how do we get into town? How do we make this be the last abduction that is going to end in death? Things are going to be terrible. And these guys, they've tasted the loot, the corruption. They know corruption is sweet. Eh? Corruption is sweet, man. It tastes like honey, and these guys have tasted it. And once you begin killing people to retain power, you must kill more and more and more to stay in power. And if we don't,
Where has my brother gone? Are you still there, Eric?
I think we've
Victoria?
lost him.
You've lost him. Okay. Okay. I wanted to hear from Wanjira. And Wanjira, just before you come in, because you're also an expert, and I know you've been working closely with Baraka. The question we're asking ourselves as a country is, you knew Bob, and you knew what Bob was doing. How is it possible for a Kenyan to disappear, and then after disappearing, a few noises are raised here and there? How do you hold the state accountable from your end? How do you hold the state accountable when the state comes out and says he's not on our records, he was not abducted or arrested by the police, when there are videos showing that when he was being arrested in the vehicles, the persons claimed that they were police? How do you approach this? How do we get this going forward in case Bob is normal? Kindly answer that.
Yeah, Ras. Hi again. Thank you for the opportunity to address, the space. I want to give you two answers: the formal approach in law that we're taught in law school, and the reality that is the Kenyan situation. Formally, the formal procedure is, as long as Bob was taken into custody by Kenyan police or people claiming to be Kenyan police, the government is responsible not just for his life, but also the fact that he is possibly dead or he cannot be arraigned in court. Either, there is no death report of Bob Njagi and the Longton brothers, and there is no living, breathing Bob Njagi, then the state is responsible. Not just that, even if they fail to conduct investigations into what happened to Bob Njagi, the state is still liable. So they're liable for their actions and their inactions. And how do you bring them to account? We have talked here, lawyers have talked here many times. We've spoken about holding police officers individually responsible. So if we knew, for example, the officers that took Bob Njagi, they cannot hide behind the Inspector General, they cannot hide behind the Ministry of Defense, they cannot hide behind Interior, they cannot hide behind whoever gave them orders. They are individually responsible. Then there's also private prosecutions that see that if I do not feel that the state has the willingness to prosecute this matter, I can apply to court for me to personally prosecute this matter the way the office of the DPP would. That is the formalistic approach to this. And those that were here maybe yesterday or the day before yesterday, there was a heated debate between Wakili Ndegwa and the gentleman that was here earlier, Liston Bahati. because the question Liston Bahati was asking was, okay, so all these police officers, for instance, come from different police stations. They do not have their formal wear that has their badges or their names or a way to identify them. So how do you know who to arrest? How do you know who to bring to account? And that is a good question, because that's the practical difficulty of enforcing some of this, because there's law in theory and law in practice. In theory, we should know who, according to their badge number, according to their name, according to the police station, we should know who to go after. But in reality, like Liston properly pointed out, they come from all kinds of police stations in the other jungle green outfit that does not have badges, that does not have anything. And the truth is, the police officers are also showing up at these protests or in some of these arrests with their faces covered. So you do not know who, you cannot even be able to identify them in broad daylight, even if they were sitting next to you. So that is one practical difficulty of this. The other practical difficulty is, and now this is the even tougher part, is, for example, there has been orders now to arrest and imprison Masengeli, but it is career suicide for any police officer, because literally everyone else is, Masengeli is in fact their superior. So it's, I don't know whether you've heard the story of mice that were debating which one of us mice is going to put the bell on the cat, right? So which one of any one of these police officers is going to go and arrest Masengeli and take him to whatever prison that the court has ordered. That is a practical difficulty of enforcing some of these issues. And I think that you people, I guess citizens in general, non-lawyers that is, are asking themselves the same questions we lawyers are asking. Because the point now, the practical situation in Kenya is that Kenyan police are acting, within the gray of the law. I would even go as far as saying within the dark parts of the law, which is completely outside the realm of the law. Because Liston Bahati, I don't know what police station he was taken to. He's not recorded there. There's no records of him ever being booked there. So it's difficult to even follow up to where he was taken. If you've watched the clip of how he was taken, there's people in the background saying these are police officers from Uganda. And if you know about what happened on Nane Nane, you have had allegations that police officers from other jurisdictions were here in Kenya, and not just on Nane Nane, but even before that. So it is difficult to know who to hold to account. Now that is the practical difficulty that we're also facing. Who do we arrest, right? And even in situations where we know who to arrest, like the killer cop, whose all his details are outside in the public domain, there has been no willfulness on the part of the government, the office of the DPP, IPOA, Kenya National Human Rights Commission. Nobody is really coming forward to say, you know what, this person needs to be arrested, and they need to be arrested today.
Sorry to interfere with you, Wakili, on your points. This is a quick one, yeah? Just on the same point that you're trying to bring out. The High Court or the court issued a ruling that these policemen, whenever they're on the street or wherever they are, or they are going to for arrest, they need to be in uniform. They need to be their numbers need to be displayed. We are not seeing this. We are not seeing this. Do you think also it is something that is the state allowed in any way, or are citizens, like the way you've brought out the Masengeli issue, are citizens allowed to do the citizen arrest? And also, are the police allowed in by the law to arrest somebody out of uniform? They are not displayed, especially when the ruling was made by the courts that whenever they are in the streets, especially countering these demonstrators, they have to be well displayed, the badges and the uniforms. How do we go about this? How do we go about this? Please help us there. Kwa sababu kuna ile state yenye mwananchi atafika mahali. Now that Masengeli, we saw an incident where we had citizen arrest. Are we able to take, now that the police are not able to take Masengeli, can the citizen enforce this? On the other side, also, I'm asking the ruling by the court that they need to display their badges whenever they want to enforce any arrest. Is this defiance? How do the citizens take this defiance? Do citizens refuse to be arrested? How do we navigate on this? Kindly help us.
Okay. Good questions. Let me start with the first one about Masengeli citizens' arrests and all that. Now, I from the top of my head, I cannot remember what article it is in the Constitution, but ideally, the protection and upholding of the Constitution is binding all citizens, and get this at. So, as an individual, as a member of a corporation, as a member of parliament, as a member of whatever, the obligation to uphold the Constitution is on each and every one of us, whether we work for the government or not, whether we're police officers or not. The Constitution does not give the High Court the powers. The powers come from the citizens. So, ideally, yes, we should be able to. However, think about the practical implications of it, because then I want us to have that sort of dual way of seeing things, which is formalistically, yes, we should. Practically, how would that go? If today you tried to even walk near the car of Masengeli, what do you think would happen to you, right? What do you think would happen to citizens if they go and start protesting outside Masengeli's office? What practically, how do you think that would go? So that is because while we school you on the law, the delicate rigors of its execution really just comes down to you are either able to. So that was the first question. The second question, you talked about the police showing up in the streets without formal regalia and all of that, the badges and everything. The rationale behind the Law Society of Kenya going to court was because of literally that. Even I could show up to the court to the streets today and say I'm a police officer and wield a gun and cover my face, and nobody would ever know, because that is exactly what was happening. A proper banana republic, style of doing things. That anybody that can wield a gun and pretend to be, to have the sway and pretend to have the aura of a police officer can masquerade as a police officer. And the idea is to make sure that if you are arrested, we can be able to account for you because it is a police officer that took you. So that is the formalistic way of doing things according to the law. You are arrested by a police officer who has a badge number that has been given authority by the law to arrest you. And then he books you into a police station, so that if we come to look for you, Ras, we know that police officer from Makongeni or from wherever took you, so we can find you at Makongeni, right? But that still is a problem, and I would say that this impunity is being fueled by this government. Because today I saw, did I see the president shake hands with Masengeli? Did I see Masengeli walking side to side with the incoming IG? A convicted man, right? A criminal, so to say, right? Walking side by side with the IG, shaking hands with the president, and none of them thought to bat an eyelid and say, you know what, on this auspicious day, we'd like to issue a statement on Jamil Longton and his brother and Bob Njagi. So you can see that this impunity starts from the very top. And the Japanese have a saying, and I think I've said this in different spaces, that there are no bad armies, just bad generals. And fish generally starts to rot from the head. So the rot in this country is starting from the very, very top. So while citizens will do what they can, I would say that the impunity starts with the office of the president coming down that way.
Thank you. And I would want you to stick around so that you and Baraka, some of these answers can be very helpful to Kenyans who are really, really, really yearning and for change. But I would want to give other Kenyans a chance also to speak on the topic because so many are hurt. Today we are receiving news. We are not, let me put it, unverified, but reliable sources indicate Bob Njagi might have been taken out. So it's a wait and see situation, but from very reliable sources, Bob Njagi might not be with us. And I know some of you are waiting for a moment to react on this, as also you ponder on what the two Achilles have said. On the mic, I would want to take. I would want first to welcome my co-host Binti. Binti, thank you for coming around. You're always so helpful. I think. Thank you to see. And let me give you an opportunity to say something, especially you, Njagi. I want to give you an opportunity to react.
Thank you very much, Russ. I'm just getting myself situated and settled down. So sorry if I don't speak for too long, as of now, but I'll come back. But I just want to say that we're living in a very sad state right now. Yani, everywhere you turn around, there's just things that are happening, and it's so disheartening. And we've got to do something about it. You know, we can't just sit here and talk and talk and talk and do nothing about it. So just give me a second to get settled down, and then I'll be back. But thank you for having me. Thank you, KOT, and thank you for holding it down. I saw Toria was here as well, and to, of course, all our speakers and listeners. So yes, I shall be back.
Thank you. That is Tori. That is Binti. Binti will be taking you through the next session, especially the diaspora section segment. Huku kwetu tunaelekea kulala na tutaki kuweka mawakili hapa sana kwa sababu najua kesho watu wako kazini. But before that, I don't want people to disappear. There's a lot that we really need to hear. And if you have a question, if you want to pass your message to the family, remember Bob Njagi, wife. Unfortunately, let me believe that we will receive good news tomorrow. But from our sources on our end, it's not good news. So prepare for anything. Bob Njagi wife gave birth. I don't even think a week is over, or it is exactly a week. You can I want you to imagine and digest that. Bob left, was abducted 2 days after, I think the wife gave birth. Na huyo mama unaweza imagine mahali penye yako. No sleep. Your husband is abducted, no word. Sorry. The state has not told her anything. Here is a child, here is a baby. Hajui, hajamuona baba yake. Who will ask these questions? And for that reason, I would want to give the mic to Otero. Otero, I want to believe that this time round your mic is on. You can hear me, confirm? Otero? Otero is
Otero, can you hear us? Otero, can you hear us? I don't think you can.
Okay, Binti, go to somebody else.
The real Joe, I can see your hand is up. Would you like to go next?
Yeah, sure. Actually, I just want to ask a question. I want to ask Wanjira a question.
Yeah, go ahead. Of course, go ahead.
Okay. I'm very disturbed, Wanjira, because the law, I believe the law society is all about upholding the rule of law. And at this point in time, we are seeing no law in our being applied in our country. Is it right, or is it just me trying to overthink? Is it right for me to ask the Law Society of Kenya to down their tools and stop even representing some of these felons like Masengeli? Masengeli as a lawyer, Dunstan Omari, who even tried to appeal the case. I know you are going to try and tell me they need to be heard and things like that, but is it right because this is right now a patriotic movement. We've seen everything that is happening. Even the new IG coming in today is coming into us police force that is tainted. We saw what happened to Madenge. He was being treated in an unfair way. Even if you read the Police Act, you understand the police, you know about the Police Act. Part 3 of the Police Act requires that the police cannot mishandle. They should not, a police officer shall not subject any person to torture. And they do that. Is it right for me to think that the lawyers need to down their tools? Doctors do down their tools, teachers down their tools. Can lawyers do that and stop representing these people in our courts? Let us give some dignity to our courts for once, as part of patriotism. Is it right for me to think that way, Wanjira?
Joe, that's an interesting question. First of all, let me start by saying this, that my views do not necessarily represent those of the Law Society. So let me just start there. So this is my personal opinions, not necessarily those of the Law Society. I want to point out, I think that will be three things. Number one, in our training as advocates, there's something called the cab rank rule. The cab rank rule here being that we cannot turn down if someone comes seeking legal advice or legal representation from us. We are not necessarily allowed to turn them down. We are actually taught this, that we do not have the privilege to say yes or no, unless there's something very contradictory between the instructions you're being given and your conscience. But generally, no. Number one, and that's number one. Number two, the right to legal representation, according to Article 49 and 50 of our Constitution, which is part of a larger, the right to a fair hearing, is actually an absolute right. So Masengeli, terrible as he may be, right, in our opinion, has the right to legal representation. It is an absolute right. That right cannot be limited. So yeah, he may seem as the monstrous person behind everything that has happened to Bob Njagi and others, but he does deserve legal representation. And you are right, it is exactly what I'm going to tell you. He does deserve legal representation. Number three, do I understand where you're coming from? Yes, that do lawyers sometimes need to balance between what is the national moment and who is this I'm representing and what do they stand for, and therefore as part of my national and patriotic duty I should not represent them. I can see what you're saying. However, I cannot speak for the person representing Gilbert Masengeli, but I do see where you're coming from, and you're right to think that way.
But let me
Thank
maybe just finalize my Wanjira by asking you. I have understood all that you said. I understand. But if you look at this law, then is it right for me to say that we are applying this law so much to fit them than to fit the common mwananchi? Why am I saying this? We are applying this law. Masengeli needs fair hearing. We are giving him that. On the other hand, he's not obeying court orders, number one. Number two, on the other hand, we are seeing the police breaking laws. We are seeing civilians, police in civilians. We are seeing police abducting. We are seeing police killing Kenyans. But the law does not apply to them in that sense. So it only applies now when it comes to them. Is it right? Like, is it right? We need, I don't know. I'm just trying to think.
Joe, I can definitely. Sometimes I also rationalize these things. I put the law part of me as a citizen, because I also don't come from the elite part of the elite, the 1%ers part of this country. So everything happening to Bob Longton could happen to me. Everything happening to Bob Njagi could happen to me. Everything that has happened to literally any protester ever in this country could happen to me, whether I'm an advocate or not, because I do not belong to the elite part of the group. So I can see the unfairness in he gets to break the law and get away with it, but also get legal protection, right? Like the law is sort of playing fast and loose as far as certain people are concerned. That is what you're trying to tell me, right, Joe? So I can see that, like I can see the inequality, and unfortunately, this movement exists to ensure that those, fast and loose, in and out, it applies and then it doesn't apply, aspects of the law do not continue to happen. And that is why this movement exists. It is why Bob Njagi, we are here talking about Bob Njagi, because he dared to question aspects of the law that are unfair to the people that have given people like Masengeli power, because Masengeli's power does not come from he himself by virtue of being Masengeli. It is because he is in is that the executive part of I think he part of the executive, which exercises power donated to it by the citizenry. Yet he gets to break the law and get away with it, but also get legal protection when it suits him. I understand what you're talking about, and this is why we cannot relent on this movement. It is why me and Baraka are here. It is why you are here. It is why Bob Njagi was here with us. It is why the Longton brothers and others who have gone before us were part of this movement, to make sure that you don't get to benefit when it benefits you, but you don't get to eat your cake and also have it at the same time. So I can see what you're saying, and it is definitely regrettable and unfortunate and unfair. But this is why this movement exists. If you do not take anything away from what I say tonight, just know that this movement exists to wipe away those kinds of, all animals are equal, but others are more equal than others aspects of the law.
Binti. Okay, Binti.
Thank you. Oh, sorry. I think my mic. I was keeping my mic muted. Thank you very much. I can hear an echo from someone. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much for those questions, the real Joe, because I feel like it's something that we all think that why is it fair for us to follow rules or like abide them in one way in comparison to somebody else. And thank you very much, Ranjira, for that. If you look at the Constitution, Part 2, Rights and Fundamental Freedoms, and you go to number 50, is it 50? Yes, so I think it was 50. It says that everybody has a right to a fair hearing, and this means that regardless of what it is, that like we can't expect to carry out the Constitution, but then also not include others from that Constitution. If you just look at number 49, just go read it. It's the right of an arrested person. They have the right to communicate with an advocate. So I'm not a lawyer, by the way, but Barack, I'm going to come to you next so you can explain to it a little bit more. But I would say that the Kenya I would like to see is a Kenya where everybody is afforded all those freedoms and rights. And that means that we can't disinclude even these road cops. It's a very controversial and scary thing to say out loud, but they're inhumane, but they're still human and they're still protected under our law. Baraka, hi.
Yes, I was going to retire in a few because tomorrow we have a rally planned, and we're going to have Wanjira, Shakira. We're going to have Buka, Kas, and certain gentleman called Kinuthia, Bran Okola, and a few other people coming on board. What we want to do, what we want to start is we want to awaken masses everywhere and give them the power to speak on them for themselves and speak publicly in the marketplaces, in the small spaces, in the big spaces. We want to take the struggle to how Martin Luther took the struggle to the people. And the nonviolent struggle has to have organization and solidarity so that the violent forces, organization can defeat violence, especially when it is from limited people. We saw that in June 25th. They can try, but then an organized group. We sat down on June 25th. People sat down and said, we're going to have this vehicle blasting music and we're going to get to Parliament. And the message was there on 24th, on 25th morning. It was clear we were going to get to Parliament. That's the message we want to get back to. That's the message I want us to get back to. That is the message that Bob Njagi will want us to get back to. That was the brainchild for him with NCCP, bringing us all together into People's Assembly from the ground up, not necessarily having one person leading and everybody following. No, what we did on June 25th, us all together coming together. Let me talk about the division because that was a question that was raised. And yes, I have happened to be in touch with all three parties in the last 2 days, and I have got to meet them. I think it's time that we put the childish games away. It is time that we put the little attention seeking, the little, I want to protect my brand statements, I want to, lead, or this is my thing, or I want more of me, quote unquote, shenanigans. It is not going to help our country. We need more patriotic Kenyans. We need Kenyans who can stand up and stand to be counted. We do not need a situation where we want to fall back to uh, uh, looking for a messiah, and looking for one person to save us, because not one person can save us. All Kenyans, we the people, will save us. All of us together will have to save us. And if we're not awakened enough and we rely on one person, then our hopes die with that person if they go wrong. As we have had the tendency to trust, Kasmil is my friend. We hang out together every single day, I think. And Buka, we hang out together a lot. Shakira, we hang out together a lot. And so many of these faces, we've had opportunity to work together in an office for quite an extended period of time, and also out in the open, meeting people in markets, meeting people in social justice centers, and meeting people elsewhere. And one thing I can tell you, that all of us are struggling. Even the faces you see here on X, all of us are struggling. We do not have vehicles. We have to use public transportation to get to places, to talk to people. We have to use bikes. I think Marvin can attest to that. But we have given ourselves to the cause. We have not said that this is going to be our thing and we want to make sure that nobody else comes into our space. But some of us have decided, okay, let's take out our frustrations on somebody else, because maybe we disagreed, because we disagreed on how we're going to do things, and they went and did it their way. Somebody else in this situation, in this movement, yes, you've been told, okay, stand down on this, because although this person is making unreasonable demands, don't go hard on this lady. There's no need to do that. And they have disregarded it, because I think some of us have myopic views on the trajectory we want to take as a nation. We're not going to look into individuals and up to individuals. We want to look at us all together, moving forward together, so that when we win, it is not a matter of looking at that individual, but we can look inwards still and say, Ras is failing in this situation. Let's kick this guy out. Let's recall this guy out. It's not a matter of Ras is like Raila, and we follow him blindly, whether he says go left, go right, we go right, or we say lie down, we lie down. No, we want the people to be the voice that changes things. So to, to, to just put it in summary, let's bury self and take up the collective ness that is going to change our country. I want to work together with KOT. I've worked together with him. I've met him. I want to work with Morar. I want to work with Tarus. I know people are talking about, I was out and about, and somebody called me from China, and he was like, I was going to support this lady to become, if whatever position she was going to run for, if she had political ambition. And now I'm starting to have second thoughts, and I was like, no, don't have second thoughts. Talk to her, bring her back to the fold, because we have to fight this together. We have skirmishes here and there, but that happens even when people are out at war. But when we go out to fight, we put those differences aside, because if we are fighting against an enemy and then we start poking each other on the side, and it's gonna derail our movement. It's not gonna work for us. So let us move together, uh, understanding our weaknesses and our strength. If somebody goes wrong, let's correct this person. If they come back to the fold, let's move together. There are things which we cannot forgive, like betrayal. We cannot forgive that, because then it means a situation where we are enablers. So yeah, let's move together. Uh, for anybody who is going to be in Nairobi tomorrow, I'm not going to say where we are, because I wouldn't want the cops to sort of get ahead of us. But we're gonna do a surprise rally and try to talk as much as possible about Bob Njagi. I'm not going to be speaking, but I am organizing, uh, and we will be there. We will speak, and our voices will be heard. We'll keep doing that through the next week, and hopefully we can have as many convoys in other places, because that's what we are working on. We don't want to have just one person doing this. We want every county to be having rallies. We want things to move to a standstill. And by October 20th, when we'll be celebrating our Shujas, we'll have huge events in each county so that we can celebrate the Shujas. And it can be a moment where we reignite the flame that was on June 25th. I think that is my dream for the moment. And I believe that I will see this dream uh, soonest, where all Kenyans across the country, in each county, in each ward, will come together and we will stand together. We'll say we will recall these MPs. We'll stand against the tyranny. We'll not allow it to continue. We'll bring aboard our parents. We'll bring aboard our siblings. We'll bring aboard everybody, and our voices will be heard. That's all for me from tonight. For tonight, God bless you. Keep in the struggle. Aluta continua.
Thank you very much, Baraka. So everybody you heard, keep an eye out, keep your ears peeled. Oh, is it ears? No, your eyes peeled and your ears open. Um, just pop up.
Rasa Binti.
Yes, yes, Ghost. Sorry.
Yes, how are you? So how are
Hi,
you?
just give me just I'm good, thank you. Just give me 1 second, please.
Okay.
Something I'd like to iterate on. I'll come back to you afterwards, no worries. But something that Baraka said is the importance of sticking together. There was some magic about 25th of June where I felt like the whole country was just moving as one, and that magic has got to return. I don't think it's fully gone yet, but we need to stop these side hustles that we're doing, fighting each other, and truly remember our purpose, our fallen soldiers. Let's keep the conversation about Mr. Bomjagi going because we need to find out exactly what's happening there. So, guys, let's stay united. Let's stay united. Ghost, I'll come to you next, and I'll go to one of our earlier speakers. Mike, I'll come to you after Ghost. So, Ghost, hi.
So I'm very fine, Binti. So I'm Ghost from Karatina, somewhere called Madeira, and I'm still a student at Kenyatta University. So the heat up that you saw lastly from Karatina, we were igniting it with several guys who I know they are here with us, like Moha, the likes of Moha, Wanjera, and still continuing. And that's why Kebaso, when he came to Karatina, there was much appreciation from the ground. So I was abducted also, and I want to stick about Njagis. So when he was abducted, and in that matatu, you can hear people saying, "No, that is an activist," and they are doing nothing. The same thing happened. Like no one took a video of me being abducted, and they took me on Thursday, and I was presented in court on Monday. So I want to say that it's a hell because they were calling someone from the top asking, where do you want us to take this guy? And if not for the hit up that went here in X and other spaces, I don't know where. I think I would be in 6 feet deep. So actually, for Bob, uh, let us stick to the course. That's the only thing I can say. Let us stick to the course, and I can see. I don't want to say Kaskazini, but Kasamuel, in a way, has failed us, and I want us to. If you have that thing inside you, I want each and every day when you say that we are going to the streets, I want that person in you is telling you to go to the streets. So another thing is that kuna mambo ingine bado ambayo inajitokeza because sahi tuko kwa koti, and my case will nitenda court hearing on 24th of October, and you find like sahi bado sijajua, niliandikiwa a lot of 450 malicious damage of police vehicles and police assault, and hizo vitu zote I don't know where they came from. So I want us to join hands even for each and every person ambaye ako na kesi kwa koti, because I was the last person, because they were searching for me, and they had already took 17 guys from my hood, before they saw me. So I want us also we help each other. So I'm not going to add anything, and I want to rest it at there. So Wanjera, hope you can have a check on that.
Thank you very much, Ghost. So, what you're asking is for Wanjura to basically get back to you on the cases that are still ongoing, like from the abductions, or just so I understand you correctly.
So for Wanjera is anaweza tuambia venye atatusaidia, because we have a lot of cases which are pending in court, kutokana na wale watu walikuwa abducted. So I think anaweza tuambia what is she planning, ama we are also going to rot in jail, and our future is going to be shut at this point.
Hi, Ghost. Why don't you do this? Why don't you please DM me? Let's talk so that I can understand exactly what happened. I cannot be able to advise right now on this platform right now as I speak. So maybe just DM me. I can give you my number. Let's talk so I can understand exactly what happened. See whether you have a charge sheet, whether you know all those delicate triggers of what happened. So kindly just DM me, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wanjura. And would you be comfortable with anybody else that's maybe in the listeners that's heard the same thing Ghost has talked about DMing and reaching out to you?
Yes, let them just DM me. Actually, myself and Baraka, we were just talking about this today. That there's a need for we were mobilizing resources, and that means also human resources, to see how some of these cases can be managed. Some of these, victims of police brutality can be managed. Whether records have been taken, statements have been recorded with the necessary organizations. So, actually, just DM me, and then let me see. Just be a little patient, because there's also a lot of other work from just the people in the same situation. But just DM me. Let's see how to.
Thank you very much, Wanjura. I think I lost you just at the end here, but you guys heard. Please DM Wanjura and be patient because, as you heard, there's a lot going on currently. But you are not forgotten. You are still a comrade, so please feel free. Thank you very much, Wanjura. I can see you opening your mic. Are you speaking, or it's just me that can't hear you?
No, sorry. Sorry. Someone is calling me. I was just saying exactly what you said. Just be patient, but DM me. Let's see how to do it. I'll work with Baraka and the other advocates that had come forward to help. Protesters and people arrested. So I'll see how some of these cases can be referred to other people as well that are willing to help. But yeah, kindly be patient.
Thank you very much for your help and your future help. We don't take it for granted, and we appreciate you all. Okay, so I'd like to go. Who had said? Oh, I think Mike V7. You had your hand up first. Would you like to please speak to us?
Yes, absolutely. Can you hear me?
Yes, 100%. Go ahead.
Okay, nice. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is how we cannot absolutely become desensitized to the killings. When you realize the grave sin that it is to take away someone's life, is when I think we'll have that energy to even like go back on the streets, because you realize that these people who've hopefully I'm still holding on to hope that they're still alive, but then again, the worst could have happened to them. When you realize the travesty that it is to take away someone's life. This, for example, Bob Njagi, this is someone who had just had a kid, like literally a few days ago, and he had dreams and aspirations of seeing a better country. You know, he he had a family who was looking up to him. He's having now leaving behind a wife who's taking care of his kid. I think is when this revolution will really take shape. We have to consciously remind ourselves that life is sacred and we must respect the sanctity of life. And we have a government that doesn't do that. And as citizens and as people who are dreaming of a better country, we cannot, no matter how bad it is. I know they're bombarding us with negative news after negative news, and you tend to become desensitized to it, but we cannot let ourselves get to there, because they will just keep committing more atrocities and we wouldn't be able to fight back against them, because we've become desensitized and there's no shock value to all the crimes that these guys are committing. So my plea is to always keep reminding yourselves that life is sacred and the sanctity of every Kenyan life must be respected. And if that's broken, everyone should be outraged because it could happen to you. And another thing I wanted to talk about is being focused on the goal. I've noticed when it comes to, especially when people are about to protest, sideshows pop up and we start bickering and fighting, and all this does is just please the political class who want us divided, because these guys have banded together to safeguard their interests, because they know if the citizenry is awake, these guys will be kicked out and they'll be made to answer for their crimes. So we need to remain focused and remain united. But one thing I'm sure of is that we're on the right side of history, and the voice of the people is the voice of God. And one thing I know is that God is a just God, and these guys will be made to pay. That I'm sure of. So they can be abusing their power now, but there'll come a time where we will hold them accountable and they'll pay for all the crimes they've committed. So I don't know when, but I'm sure that's going to happen. So I just want to encourage everyone to keep up the good fight and not to forget that the sanctity of life is great, and everyone is made in God's image, and that should be highly respected. So yeah, I really don't have much to say beyond that. So thank you, KOT, Binti, and Ras for giving me a chance to speak on this space.
Yeah, Mike, you are 100% right. None of these problems we have, whether it's in Kenya, in the world, wherever, none of the problems we have as humans would exist if we really cared enough about each other. Like if we all understood the sanctity of life. You're right, these things would not be an issue. So, and until we have people in those positions of power that really value human life, things are not going to change. So let's look inwardly at ourselves. People that are vying for new leadership positions, please, if you know that you don't care about humans, don't, because we're going to end up in a cycle that just a horrible cycle. So please let's remember the importance of giving dignity to human life. And yeah, let's stay focused, let's stay on course, let's remember our purpose. Let's not allow to get ourselves to get distracted with any sideshows. Let's keep the goal going. Before I give to the next speaker, please support our brother, Mavi Mabonga. I think you heard Wakili say that, people here find their own means to go and see people, to go and do their own protests. So please let's support him using the data line above 07104 and it should bring up Mavi Mabonga. Whether you want to buy data directly to him or send him, then he will be able to buy, then that's up to you. But let's support our brother. And Yolamo, I can see your hand is up, but would you mind if I just went to some of our previous speakers and I'll come back to you? I think Be Real was here before. Be Real, hi.
Hi, Binti. Hi, QT.
Hi, how are you?
Guys, personally, I'm fine, but it's not all so well because I don't know where to start. Okay, what I'm reading is not really making sense as much as it is. This issue of one by one is, I mean, damn it. Binti, just allow me some time. I don't know what to say. And we cannot sit back and watch all this happening. we cannot assume this. Today is Njagi, tomorrow is Burial, the next day is Malamo, just because you're vocal or what? And it's not about leadership or something. We cannot sit back and watch. It will take some time. I'm a bit beaten by this. I was really hoping to read something different. Actually, I'm still very hopeful to like wait up to something else. I'm sorry I sound very emotional, but this is beaten me. Because you promise this and you do the other. So you want to come for one by one, each and every person, individually. So we have to walk watching our shadows or what? And then now you want to take off the few that think they are very vocal because anybody can be a leader. We really, the people, if you've been active, this is the time to watch everything slide slowly and don't be comfortable. It's not comfortable. You're just being told no one is safe. I'm still hopeful, Bente, that this is not real that I'm reading. Allow me just to drop there.
Are you still there?
Ras, I'm sorry, I can't talk.
Okay. We understand. We understand. It's not an easy matter. It's something very painful to most of us. And we are praying to God that as we get ready to welcome tomorrow, that we'll have a different news. So I urge everybody to be patient. Let us wait. We have raised the alarm, and we are hoping that we'll have some different news. So let us, and this gives us the reason why we should be making this noise. I think it is a big lesson, and today Kenyans are realizing why we always call. We always call whenever somebody has been abducted, whenever somebody has been taken the police. It is important. It is important when somebody is taken by the police. I just want to imagine, because when you go through that video, when Bob was being abducted, I want the people in that vehicle, if you're one of them, wherever they are, I know by tomorrow, most of them will start reflecting. I think it's something that you live with it. You live with it regretting. And that's why we don't want this kind of situation where we come to talk later and say we wish we knew all that. Just be your brothers and your sisters' keeper. I've always said, police will come to arrest you in a bunch of 2, 3, or 4. But why should 4 people arrest you, 3 people, brandishing guns and cuffs, no identity, no nothing, but you are a group of almost 20, 30, 40 Kenyans? Until we have the love for each other, William Ruto and his group, And remember these few individuals, these few officers, they are also officers that have been promised, and at the end of the day, they are given nothing. It's just a group of a few who decide to act rogue. But I would want to send this message to those officers. The law will finally catch up with you one day. The policeman that killed our friend and our friend Wakili is here and others, if you remember Willie Kimani. Willie Kimani was abducted with others and some other witness. You know how the Willie Kimani case ended. And because of persistency na kufuatilia hiyo kesi, today, those policemen are in jail. Even that policeman that was taking, huyu mwenye, the face is out there, the one that was killing people, the sniper, he has to be reminded, William Ruto and his group will not be in power forever. Someday accountability will be needed. So let us not give up. Let us stop the habit of allowing police taking over our people as we watch. Once we tukistick kwa hiyo, tukiamua tu na hiyo ati hakuna mtu mwenye anashikwa na tumesimama. If it is arresting, arrest all of us. You know, there is a language they use when they are coming to arrest you. They will always come, no, this guy is a thug. Kindly, if somebody is a thug, go and find out with him. Mpaka kwa ile police station wanaenda. If we can do that, we will save so many lives. Otherwise, they are on a killing spree, left, right, and center. Binti, if you're there, Binti, has Binti disappeared then? Binti, kindly come back, my dear. Kindly come back. I think it is your session. As Binti prepares to come, I can see a hand. Jolam.
This is Nyolamo. Not just
Sorry, Nyolam. Take.
No, that's fine. Look, first and foremost, man, my condolences to this stunning news that has just come up. About 3-4 days ago, I think we were talking on the same space here about strategy, and we highlighted the 60 names that are fallen. These 60 people are all young people. These 60 people are people who are, I would say, 30 years or less that are all fallen. This is the strength, the cornerstone of the country. Now, why do I say this? Ras, you mentioned a very, very pregnant point there, a point that we talked about the last time, a point we chose. I won't call it our weakness, but I would call it our negligence sometimes. 3 people cannot come and arrest 4 people, and the rest of the multitude are looking. Somebody can snatch a phone. I was going through the phone and I saw this MCA being accused of having stolen just one phone. And the power of the people got him right there. The power of the people got him right there, to include those people who never saw him even steal that phone. So people were kind of like responding to justice. If only, I would say, if only and only we could deploy same force to protect and preserve the innocent here. Why do I call our people innocent? These are people that don't even have a knife in the pocket, just a pen knife, don't even have a razor blade in their pocket. And here we are abducting them and disappearing. And then when people are asked, they are just adamant. Adamant, why? Because they have known all Kenyans are weak. And why do they think we are weak? Because they managed to divide us. Now, bringing me back, I'm not an expert of law, but I can read and write. I can interpret law in a layman's language, but I cannot interpret it to that person who went and analyzed it, dissected it, and said, hey, this is my tool and I want to help others. I see a lady talked here who is, I think she's a lawyer, she's an advocate of the High Court, when I checked the profile. I'm asking you, is it possible in this country, you can interpret the law for us, is it possible in this country for just an advocate who has been certified as an advocate, even if he's not a practicing advocate of the High Court, but has been given the license to be a lawyer in this country? Can such a person solely go to any court under any judge and file a motion to prosecute? Because I know Okia did it, and Okia wasn't a lawyer. Are lawyers in for us? Because a bunch of lawyers can sign a motion, I believe, I'm not so sure, you can correct me. They can sign a bunch of motion, present it to court, and press this move to a point where these people are forcefully brought to court to answer these charges, and they offer it pro bono. That these kind of cases have existed in the Western countries. Remember, during Trump's time, just an advocate and just a lawyer filed for an injunction to President Trump when he had put in a ban on the Muslim move, a ban on a Muslim move to come to the United States. And one single lawyer went to court and was joined by now a bunch of them, and they filed and won over President Trump. And that became null and void right there because of the law. So I think our law was inherited, and I'm just saying this factually. Our law was inherited from the British rule. And the British law was meant to stagnate Africans and empower white people. When we got our independence, because we like lunatics, like this guy killing us, when they come to power, they don't want to change anything that will incriminate them. And that is why our laws are as bad as possible. All the amendments we are doing are amendments that are making us weaker, amendments that are making them more powerful, amendments that are making them more richer from the poor people, amendments that are not just taking our countries anywhere. Now, when Raila lost, Raila has been a perennial loser anyway, but all these times that he has lost, he's been going to court, try and do all these things. And I do remember very well during Maraga's time, Maraga had to go by the law for once and stop everything and say that the election of William Ruto and President Uhuru was null and void, and he opened up for an hearing. And nothing really happened. He was only called Mkora and all many names, all that kind of stuff, but he stuck to his guns. You see this? So I am just appealing today, because this thing is very artful. When by yesterday was 60 people, names that can be published. I'm sure there are so many people still missing. By yesterday was 60 people. Today are one person that has stood up for democracy and has stood up for freedom just go missing. And we have been asking all this time, where is Mr. Njagi? Where is Paul Njagi? And all this, a group that is meant to protect us, a group that calls themselves police officers, tells you that they don't know where somebody is. It just reminds me during the Moise time, Ouko went missing. His cabinet minister. And President Moi had to plead with people and say, whoever knows where Ouko is, please let us know. Who can know that if it's not him? See this? Then finally, just like what is happening to Bob Njagi, after many, many days, the remains of Ouko were found at Gotalila by just a young boy who was herding cows. Is the one who goes finds the remains of Dr. Ouko. Just because Dr. Ouko came to the United States, apparently, and shined over the entourage that he had carried with him to the United States. But what I'm saying is this: Bob Njagi has gone today. We may not feel it because it's not probably hit you. But I am asking ourselves, we are dealing with a lunatic. Guys, analyze that. We are dealing with somebody who really does not care. This is somebody, we all saw it, went to ICC for all the killings. This is a guy who took people. A church is a supreme place, but went to a church and killed the entire people that are seeking for refuge. And none of those people that he killed in the church had even a weapon with them, had nothing with them, had nothing to do with him, had nothing but only to cast their vote. Those people did not even, there was no evidence that those people casted their vote, but he killed all those people. Now, why am I bringing in this? He went to ICC, and there's so many witnesses that came up. What happened? What happened? Everybody was killed. Any single sort of witness was killed. And then they lacked evidence. And then he was acquitted. Now, that same guy stays in the government with Uhuru Kenyatta, whom they were accused with. Uhuru goes ahead and starts seeing what he has with him in White House, in the State House. Then Uhuru tells people, you know what, man? I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry. I was in a vehicle, and in this vehicle, I realized that there was a passenger behind me, and this passenger started, oh, kuna maviti zinaenda huko, kuna manini inaenda huko. And I do remember that clip that Uhuru gave. Uhuru said, sooner or later, hata matayas na hiyo gari pia itaenda. And he said this, that to me, that was a speech of somebody that saw that I was once lost and now I'm found. Ouru started being himself. He must have gotten into that storm but didn't know. Now, when he was awakening up, repenting, he realized that he was totally hooked up in darkness and wanted good for Kenya. And he realized how much, and I'm sure anybody in here who could be good to him and who could be close to him, go talk to him plainly, Uhuru will tell you exactly everything. And he would probably tell you that he is really, really sorry. Because towards the last time, the last minute, I saw truth in him. I saw his eyes open. I saw a sense of brotherhood. You know, a sense of like, hey, I have this country's interest at heart. But it was too late because he's somebody who wanted to respect the Constitution, and he didn't want to say, hey, I want more time. Because he could have gotten it. Last minute, he could have gotten it if he said, no, I'm not giving it. I'm still the president. Uhuru could still be the president to date. But because last minute Uhuru respected the rule of law, he gave it out. He really gave it out. And believe to me, he gave it out in a kind heart.
Nyalamo,
Now, this,
can
yes, let me wind up
yeah,
then. Let me
and
wind
also
up.
bring you back to the topic.
So, okay, all right. So with the last running of this guy comes in. He's a conman, of course. He comes uh, and preaches very nice words to us. And we have orators. We have people who are orators. Somebody who will tell you exactly what you want to hear, but doesn't do what he means it. He doesn't walk his talks. You know, it's kind of like I talk it, but I don't walk it. So this is him. So he got it, and he's like, to hell with everybody. Now, Gen Z's made him almost walk it, and he really panicked. But when he saw people like the dinosaurs coming in again and telling him, no, don't do this, give me this, give me this, give me this, he regained power. And remember, KOT, we talked about this last time, that guys, do not relent, because this guy will come back with anger and will hunt each and everybody, even to including me, I'm sure. He is hunting each and everyone right now. And he will kill you because in his thought process is that if I kill you, I terminate this cancer. I kill this, I terminate this cancer. And then the rest of the people that are not talking will just shut their mouth quiet. So, guys, it is high time that the police has to be confronted with the amount of force that they are giving people. You really have to. We have to show that this country belongs to us. And this country here, we cannot let it go to the Nyangaus. And with that, I say, hey, let's do it. Thank you guys for giving me
Nyalamo,
space.
Nani
Ras, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I don't know who is that speaking. Sijui ni nani bado okay. Binti, somebody was speaking, but we have not given him the go ahead. I don't know Nani. Is it Moha?
No, it was not me, but I'm waiting.
No. It's Nyalamo just punched the mic, right? I just wanted to reply to him.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Binti, thank you. I just spoke.
Yeah, Nyalamo, thank you very much for your submission. So first of all, Ras, sorry, I don't know why I got dropped from co-host.
There's echo.
Lakini,
Mike Arras
is it still there?
echo.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I got dropped from co-host. I don't know what's happened, but I'm still here with you. Don't worry, I haven't disappeared. Anyways, Nyalamo, thank you for your submission. Maybe the one thing I really struggle with is promoting tit for tat. I think it's very important for us that when we're asking for justice, we dish it in a way that we would want justice to be served to us. So yes, let's hold these people accountable. I don't know how we're going to do this. This is why we're here to discuss this. But I don't want to do a tit for tat to anybody personally, and I can't. This is just my opinion. Me as Binti, I can't support that personally, but I understand the rage. We can't let our comrades get abducted anymore. This has to stop. So we need to figure out a way to stop them constitutionally and hold them accountable with it. Okay, so I think I'll go to Muhammad and then Jamahuri. Guys, if you would like to speak, please request for the mic. Otherwise, we'll be coming to a close in the next maybe at the bottom 30 minutes past the hour. That will be 2:30. So if you'd like to speak, this is your chance to come up before we get going. And do more, I don't know if you'd spoken, so I might give you a chance actually before I go to Jamahuri afterwards. But Muhammad, hi.
Hi, Binti. Hi, everyone. I'm equally saddened, like everyone here, about the reported death of Bob Njagi. I saw someone say it was actually gruesome and he was actually butchered. I don't know how that's true. I also read a tweet from Omkia Mtata saying his wife was actually pregnant and she gave birth while Bob was still missing. And it actually just made the pain a lot more worse, like a father missing the birth of his own child, and today he's gone, that he will not be coming back to his own kids. He was unarmed, he was a civilian, he was not robbing anybody, he was not killing anyone, he was not doing anything wrong. He was just asking, please change these, follow the law, let's have a better country. That's all. He did not deserve to die. But it is said, a society is only as good as the leaders it has. We allowed this to happen. We are responsible for the death of Bob and all those before him because we allowed this guy to stay in power. Had Ruto been removed on January 25th, June 25th, had he been removed on 9, Bob will still be with us today. But the thing is, it's not going to be Bob again. I know the anger will just be a matter of a week or two, and Bob will also be forgotten like the rest before him, and this will just continue. It's really, really sad. We are actually allowing him to do this. We're actually allowing him. The moment Raila Odinga joined him, he became emboldened. Now he has the free hand to do whatever he wants. And this is happening because we don't have an independent judicial system in Kenya. Nobody follows the law in Kenya. And there's something Nyalimo, I think the last speaker touched on, about the lawyers in this country and the constitution. Actually, he's very right. I was thinking about the same thing yesterday. In Asia, I actually started my bachelor's 20 something years ago in India. In Asia, they have the lawyers are really, really active. Like when these kind of things happen, the lawyers are actually the first to hit the streets and protest. I remember there was a time, a whole month, the lawyers of Pakistan blocked the roads. All the lawyers, it didn't matter which ideology they believe, all of them. In Kenya, the lawyers are actually interpret the law on the basis of where they are that day. If they are with the government and they're eating, they interpret in favor of the government at that time. If they're in the position, they're trying to say, okay, make it look like, okay, now they're interpreting the law for the good of the Kenyans. See someone like Edwin Sifuna, who was speaking so well, Raila Odinga and his cows joined the government, all of a sudden they're mum. So this is us. It's us Kenyans who have allowed this. This will continue to continue. This will continue to happen. It's not about comrades. It's us. 4 days ago, an elected MCA of Wajir County, Yusuf Hussein, was abducted. He took a ride from Isli, somewhere South Sea. When he was actually passing Nyayo Stadium, two Land Cruiser Prados blocked him, one from the front and the other from behind. He was abducted. Up to now, he's missing. This is actually current sitting elected MCA, elected person, member of Legislative Assembly of Wajir County. He's missing 4 days. So what's actually ordinary Kenyans? If elected people are actually this happening to them, what's happening? What will happen to the ordinary Kenyans? There's no one. It's only us and God. And what's actually really most annoying, when one of the politicians or the persons in government is actually touched, they say Mutuwetu, they go for a press conference. And the last time, you guys remember when Nurdin Haji, the NSIS general guy, was touched by the deputy president, and he said he's not doing his job, he's a junior officer, all the Northeastern MPs called for a press conference. And they said, Gachagua, you're targeting this guy, this. They supported him. Now, this guy missing, elected MCA, is from Mujia. Now, where is the outrage? Where is the outrage? So this tells you it's not about Mutuetu, it's about the high, the powerful, the rich protecting each other. It's not about even Mutuetu. It's them protecting each other. The AP guy, instead of him following the law, instead of the MPs actually saying this guy, the lawmakers, they were coming out and saying Mutuetu, he has been targeted. So the leadership is actually a byproduct of us, the society, and we actually put ourselves here. What we need to do when these kinds of things happen, if we turn the whole country upside down, completely upside down, or just when they just kill one Kenyan, Ruto will be careful next time. We say no, it's not going to be worth it. What am I going to get from killing one person? It's going to cost me so much. So I think, as I wind up, we need to be strategic next time we hit the streets. There are people enabling Ruto and keeping him in power. If we are targeting Ruto, we must target them too. And that's actually the American embassy. All the Western embassies in Nairobi are enabling him. They are his friends. When something small happens, as the slightest report, they issue travel advisory to their citizens. But they are supporting and keeping a murderer in office because he's actually serving the American interest. So the African life is not actually valid. And this is actually a fact. So next time, we have to hit all of them. They are the enemies as much as Ruto is the enemy. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. The enemy is one, and we need to remember that we cannot allow these guys to go about behaving as if they're above the law. Okay, these abductions have got to stop. And you're right, we need to blame ourselves in terms of why are we watching people get abducted and we're not doing anything. Me, by the way, it's something I feel like I would say something. If I was there, I would at least say something, try to do something about it. Instead, we're just watching them do this. This is not okay. We also have to, as much as they're in the wrong, of course, 100%, we also have to look inwardly and ask ourselves, are we cowards? We're not cowards. We've hit the streets before. People have died in the past in the streets. So it's not that. So my question is, what is it? What's stopping us from defending our fellow comrades when we see things happening live? Jamhuri, I'd like to go to you next and then go to do more, be more afterwards. And if we have no more speakers, I will be requesting to close the space. But if you'd like to speak, please request now. So Jamhuri, hi.
Hi, Binti. Thank you for the opportunity. And thank you, KOT, for putting together the space and Ras for co hosting. There's something that Mike said earlier about us getting desensitized, and I wanted to co sign that. Uh, we need to remember that for every one of the people who have been abducted or killed, there's a family somewhere agonizing. These are not statistics, these are not hashtags, these are real people. Real people. We're talking about Bob Njagi and his wife, and the possibility that Bob Njagi might not be able to see his child. His child might not know his dad. This is not theoretical. This is a real person. And when we're getting distracted in silly conversations and silly feuds, I'm holding myself accountable also to look at myself in the mirror and ask myself, is this the fight that I want to be in about who is who? Or do I need to remember that there are real people that are agonizing the deaths of their loved ones as a result of this movement? This could not be more serious. And there's something that I wanted to say about what's the, kind of the stage of what's going on. The only word that comes to mind is terrorism. The state uh, is 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 instilling terror in the hearts of its people, because the nature of terrorism is not about guns or bombs. The whole um, the whole concept of terrorism is for everybody to know that they could be next. So as we sit here, you could be next, I could be next, my brother could be next, my sister could be next. And that's the nature of terrorism, that a bomb could pop up anywhere, that a policeman could pop up, with their face masked and just haul you to Neverland. Um, and so, really, what's going on? We are slowly, I don't want to say surely, but definitely we are sliding. In fact, it's not slowly. We are fast sliding into anarchy. We are sliding into the law of the jungle. And I empathize with the question that the real Joe had asked earlier, which was, why should we even uphold the law? Why does the law apply to, say, Masengeli when he's being represented? And yet the law doesn't seem to apply when it's supposed to protect Bob Njagi and 60 other people who have been killed. I can totally empathize with where that's coming from, because we're slowly sliding into that space where, what law are we talking about? That seems to only favor the powerful. And that's a dangerous place to be as a nation. And so I guess the only thing that I can say that's probably actionable for myself, and maybe I'm challenging all of us to think about this maybe every day, that a big part of this fight is the fight for your attention. The moment we forget Bob Njagi, the moment we forget 60 comrades who have been killed, is the moment that fight is won, right? Because to our disadvantage, that is. Um, the war is psychological as much as it is physical. And so, where am I? Again, I'm challenging myself. Where am I choosing to spend my attention, right? When kwa hizi streets za Twitter vita zikitokea, am I going to fuel that fire, or am I going to stay focused? And I'm urging us not to be desensitized about the seriousness of this matter, and really truly stay focused. It is not theoretical. For every abduction, for every killing, for every injury, it's a real person from a real family, and they're agonizing, and we owe it to them to stay focused.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jamhuri. That's one thing that I would like us to never lose track of. These are real people with real lives, with real families, and that's why I'm asking questions like, if how would you feel? There's people in this space that have been here today that have actually been in the same position where they're abducted. There's people that have lost family, friends, or family members, or just know somebody they've seen get taken out, like get their life taken out by this government. So let's never forget the importance of why we're doing this. And as long as we keep moving forward with those thoughts and never forgetting our comrades, always respecting them, I think we can really do this. I'm really struggling to talk today, but I'm just gonna go straight to Toria. Sorry, Mohammed, would you like to speak?
Yeah, just a small comment that I saw someone posted right now. They're now confirming actually Bob, the baby that was born 5 days ago, is actually his first child. That's actually his first child. He never had kids before, and he missed the birth of his first child. As sad as that sounds, yeah, that's all I wanted to share. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mohammed. I think if you guys were tuned in earlier on, we had another speaker. I won't mention their name, but we had a speaker who reminded us again the importance of not letting this slip through the cracks, because they too have had a family member that was taken away from them in similar manner. This is painful, guys. This is very painful for families. I can't even begin to imagine what the partner is going through right now. Let's have some heart. And this is the humanity I'm asking from all of us. And if you people from DCI, CG, wherever you are in this space, please listen to me. What if it was you? What if it was your sister, your mother, your daughter, your son, your family friend, your anybody? I think you're forgetting that. In fact, the same gentleman once told me something around a weekend and a little bit ago. He reminded me that we as humans only get to live, but there's three things we don't get to choose. We don't get to choose where you're born, when you're born, or the gender you're born. So you people, you policemen, because I'm sure there's somebody there in the listeners hiding, just know that you didn't get a choice really in being in the position you're in. So don't take advantage of it and don't abuse that power. Toria, hi.
Hi, Binti. I don't know if I'm audible.
Yes, you are. Thank you for joining us. Sorry I'm late to the party, but yes, 100%.
Actually, I was here before I had to leave. I was on a phone call, but I hope I can see you are faring it well. Me, even I lack words, to be honest. I don't know what to say. I'm just, what do we do now? Yes, he's dead. The other two are missing. His kid doesn't know his father. A 5 day kid. Oh my God, it is so bad. I think we should go back to the streets. Sitasema tuende sahi, but we need to come up with a way. Sahi ni the three of them, na apart from the three of them, kuna watu wengine wengi hata hatuwajui majina. Wamekuwa abducted, oh God, wamechukuliwa tu manyumbani, like hata ujui uanzie wapi. Sahi binti, you are not safe at all in any place in Kenya. Bob alichukuliwa kwa gari, tukaimba internet, free Bob Jagi, free Bob Jagi, free. Wapi? Nobody went ahead kufree. Nikaona post ya Kimunzi alikuwa amepost free Bob Jagi. Someone commented akasema they are dead. Akauliza ni kina nani, then again akarudi tena akasema they are already dead. We ignored. I want to tell you guys one thing. I said it earlier, but I want to repeat it again. Normalize kusoma content za mtu. Normalize kufikiria deep about why this. Hata kama una ignore mse, unapata tu wana post vitu zingine zina make sense ama zinatupea hints. Your post, I had to go to check on it. It was, I guess, si last week. It was Monday hapo hivyo. Then mse alisema Bob amekufa. Then Kimunzi akasema siangaliangi vitu, but these things seems suspicious. It seems suspicious. Then leo boom, news. Bob is not there. Not sure ama imekuwa confirmed ama hayuko, but najua hapa kuna maspai wa William Ruto. God tell that motherfucker aproduce watu wote wenye ameeka ndani. Tunataka hao mabro wawili wa Kitengela, dead or alive. Sasa it is not business as usual bana. Leo ni Bob, kesho ni Binti, kesho kutwa ni mimi, kesho hiyo ingine ni Ras, kesho ni KOT. Aujui tukinyamaza itaendelea hivyo. Ruto is capable of doing this shit hadi 2027 asikuwe na mtu wa kumpinga wasi. Ni aki you remain silent inanifanya na feel kuchizi because what's happening? It's a pandemic, it's a disaster. Ruto is just a disaster. Like, say, we know very well, like, we cannot bring Bob Njagi back, but we cannot let his soul, he died as a hero. Hatuwezi acha blood yake idedi tu hivyo bure. Manze, una imagine unatolewa kwa gari, kwa nganya na wasee wako kwa gari na hakuna kitu anaweza fanya. Hey. Na ni Kenya. That shows how the security department or whatever of this country has misused his power. Hawafanyi kazi hata kidogo, these motherfuckers. Like wanafaa kuwa wanatuprotect, lakini wao ndo wanatubeba kwenda kutuua. Alafu I'm trying to relate it. Ni leo asubuhi ama ni jana, ule mbaba alivotiwa in kuwa sijui IG, ule anaitwa Kanja, alisema wanafanya investigation, then boom, hata siku haijaisha Bob amesha pass. What are those? Hizi ni mawatu wanatuambia sasa. Si hatutaki kusikia hizo mavitu. Si tunataka watu hao wenye wako ndani waachiliwe. Masingeli aende ndani, hata yeye apige service yake huko bana. Hata 6 months ni kidogo. Mwenye alimjudge na favorism. Mse anafaa akae ndani. Like literally sahi, me hata I lack words to be honest, but I'm very mad, like I'm running crazy guys. Mimi na cheesy, acheni niwaambie tu ukweli. Mimi na cheesy tu. Ukiangalia hivi
Victoria, I have a question for you. Do you think those guys, there's even a remote chance of them being alive? If they are alive, why do you think they will be holding them this long?
To be honest, I don't know. And mind you, kulikuwa kunapangwa protest, issues zika-arise jana kwa internet, kidogo kidogo leo Bob amekufa. Like, can't you see you guys, these people are trying to tamper with our minds ama ni nini? Like, to be honest, mi acheni niwaambie tu kweli. I'm running crazy. I'm going crazy. I'm running out of my nuts, to be honest. Incidents zimekuwa ziki happen of late. It's not normal. A human being cannot withstand those things, like, and to continue moving on with life as if nothing has happened. Ama tukidnap huyo Shalin, ama mtu mmoja wa gava, mtu wa kwao akikidnapiwa ndo wataelewa uchungu ya mtu kupotea, innocent soul kupotea. Inhumanity. Kenya, inhumanity is the biggest thing that politicians treasure as a gold. Like, they are so inhuman. They don't feel that pain ya kupoteza msee. Wanaona tu tunawika Twitter, wanaona hakuna kitu tunafanya grau. Alafu unaenda hapo, mi nikianza kuongea nitaongea out of topic. Acheni tu ninyamaze. Thanks Binti.
Just before you come in, I understand you are about to close, but I think this one goes to the ODM, the party ODM. Bob worked for, and Bob was a youth who came from the ODM wing of government. No, ODM wing of opposition. That's where he has been doing before he later on joined the NGOs after ODM had already gone into bed with the government. And it's unfortunate until this very moment. There are voices in ODM that are still not reacted to this issue. And it sends shivers. It really questions these countries' leaders. More so, these ones that went into government, knowing very well they were going into bed with a government that is tainted, a government that has no respect for human life, a government that was carrying huge burdens of misuse of law, has no respect for the rule of law, and they still went ahead and dined and ate with this government, courtesy of the GNZ blood. To this very moment, no what? Bob Njagi, the ODM lobby group leader, the commander of the mass action in Kitengela during the anti-finance bill, abducted in Kitengela, abducted on his way. Mpaka saa hii hakuna mtu mwenye ameongea. The only person who broke this news was Babu Owino, and we understand why Babu broke this news. And you can understand the position Babu is in at this current time, politically. Even there are members fighting him in the party because he has refused to sing the William Ruto gospel. Mimi kitu yenye nitasema na kitu yenye nitaendelea kusema, this fear and the people and the individuals busy doing the devil's work. You can do it on behalf of your tribeman. You can do it because he comes from your tribe. You can do it because you're used to be doing it. It's unfortunate even the guns they are using on the street. It is our taxes. It is our taxes that buy those guns. We are living in a nation where even to avoid accountability, people are brought from Uganda and other places to just come and act like policemen in this country. We had an individual who in broad daylight was coached, and I can say this, I can say it so that you can hear, coached, totally coached to appear like a suspect of the Kware killings, only for after a few days, after them thinking that Kenyans have forgotten. Pole. I had a knock on the door and I had to go and respond. Unajua sasa ukisikia hata knock unakuja. Let me just finish. I'm saying that kindly pardon me for that. I'm saying that we saw recently an individual disappear mysteriously in a police station after an uproar on the Kware killings. To this very day, we don't know where that individual is. We have not been told anything. And this is the kind of courage that these butchers are having every day. When you see policemen throw tear gas canister on an innocent student,
Helplessly on the ground.
you can hear me?
Yeah.
BT, kindly take it Kwanza. I come and finish. I can hear somebody on my door. Finish that as I take care of this, please.
No problem. Na kama mkujua, please tell us. Just scream. We'll come. Sorry.
Hey, Binti.
Guys, today
Hey,
Yes.
Binti, let me just give an interjection a little bit. Just it's going to be just a sentence. Hey, I just wanted to let everybody know here that Raila Odinga left and Anyang' Nyong'o took over the ODM. The last statement that was released by Anyang' Nyong'o, everybody here should know by now that ODM, the party ODM they said must work hard to help Kenya Kwanza pass all its policies and all what they are doing. So just know they are not with you guys. I just wanted to let everybody know that.
Yes. Yeah, Nyolamo. Thank you. And I think
Binti,
we're saying it's a bad thing, but it's actually a good thing because at least now we just have one common enemy.
Binti.
There's only one person to fight. Yes, Toria.
I don't know if mumeona post ya Edgar latest. You check on, you boycott Mumias sugar yenye inauzwa supermarket, it's poison, it's not sugar ya kawaida, inatolewa inaenda inakuwa repacked with some substances. So guys, we have a lot to go. They are killing us in all means. Na muliona mama mboga pia yeye amefikiwa story guy. Akimi, hey.
Binti, I would like to draw, but I just want to have 2 minutes, if you give me permission.
Yes. Please go ahead. And Toria, thank you very much for that. You can put it in the jumbotron and then we can just read it. Then yeah. Thank you very much, Mohammed. Go ahead.
Yeah, guys. Today, Bob's child is 5 years old. He will grow up without a father in Kenya. I'm requesting all of you, please, let's not have that boy killed by another Kenyan president 20 years from now. Let's just promise Bob we cannot protect him, but at least we protect his child. And the best way we can do that, we get that boy's name, uh, 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 name the protest after him, and do it once, and we free ourselves. And that will be the best legacy, the best promise we will give to Bob and say, we cannot protect you, but we protected your child. Thank you and good night.
Sorry. Who was speaking? Was it Mohammed?
Yes, you did not hear me?
No, I can hear you. I don't know what happened to my thingy. Sorry.
Shall I repeat? Was everyone else hearing me?
I heard you loud and clear. That was really
Okay.
powerful what you just said.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I think it's just me. If anybody heard, then they can reply. But I don't know what you said. Sorry.
Okay, he said like we need to protect Bob's child so that he cannot be killed the same way his father has been killed 20 years later, and we can only do that by bringing or coming together as one, all of us. We do the biggest protest ever and liberate ourselves, and that way we will have saved that child's future also. I would also like to inject that if there is something we can do to help that mama, I know she's going through the worst hell now. We can check on how we can help her. Najua ni hard times, lakini manze, it's very bitter to bring up a child without a father who died on a forefront as a hero fighting for a better future for his child. So guys,
Can I say something real quick?
Uh, yes, and then I'd like to go after you just on that issue quickly. Yeah.
Um, I just want to say how much I appreciate what you just said, Mohammed. We have and what you said, Toria. There is the immediate action that we could take to help that child, and I think there's the ongoing work that we have to do to make sure that that child, the child that were born around his time, 20 years from now, will not be having this fight. We cannot be having the same fight that people are having in 1950s and then in the 1980s and then in the 1990s and then 2040 we're also in this fight. When at what time will we be the creatives? At what time will we self actualize if we're constantly in if we're in this perpetual fight for our freaking lives? At some point we need to live. So I really, really appreciate that. And there's something, the Second Amendment in the U.S. Constitution is about the right to bear arms. And I'm generally one of those people who don't like guns very much, but the idea behind it is that at some point, should a government go rogue, the citizens ought to rise up against that government using the arms that they have a constitutional right to bear. We don't have that right at the moment, but the kind of anarchy that I'm seeing in our country makes me wonder, might that be something that we consider? Anyway, that's kind of, I'm digressing a little bit, but we are in a state of craziness. Story of unasema you're losing your mind. I can totally empathize. And we cannot be in this fight forever. This one needs to be once and for freaking all.
100%.